They're all Gen X. I just fucking cracked the code, and nobody got it. Candace Owens. Yes, Dan Bilzerian. Yes, Jake Shields. I don't care. Dr. Anastasia Lupez. Is she human? Yagoda nuked her face, okay? But I'm calling all these people out, okay? Because I want to debate, and I haven't gotten my debate. The whole thing about Bolsheviks is Gen X. It's a Gen X thing, and I'll explain exactly why, okay? The boomers created a slave, post-war liberal mind control system. They were the hippies. They were the retard libertarian hippies that smoked pot and were like, yeah, we're fighting the man. And they were like, bedtime is fascism, man. And like, that was the boomers, right? Stay with me. Gen X were the same. They still had these ingrained liberal values, anti-authoritarian values. Like, let's not even call it libertarian. Let's call it anti-authoritarian, right? But Gen X is like the band Trapped. Back off, I'll take you on. I know I'll take on anyone. So Gen X likes BMX. They like extreme sports. They like Metallica. They like banging their head on, smashing it on the wall and saying, I'm free. And they smash their head against the wall to defy the authorities. So that's Gen X, all right? And they love the word X. That's why Elon Musk. And Gen X are people who still believe that they're going to be in a band and tour the country and get a lot of women. Even though they're 65 years old, they still think that this dream is going to pan out. So that's Gen X is this extremely cringe 1990s MTV, Joe Rogan Fear Factor, extreme sports, EA Sports. It's in the game. So they have this like anti-authoritarian bent and libertarian bent that they've inherited from the boomers that is rooted in post-war liberalism. So that's are you following me? That's Gen X. It's this new edgy twist on their boomer parents. It's the same foundation of the Matrix mind control slave system liberalism. It's the same fucking thing, but they put a fucking edgy twist on it, but they're still rooted in that, right? So I'll tell you what Gen X has done. The reason Gen X is obsessed with the Bolsheviks in a negative way, like Dan Bilzerian and all these people, because they're basically like, they were raised with like Hitler as the boogeyman, like boomers, right? But they're like, oh my God, I learned the truth. The real Hitler was like a Jewish guy named Yagoda, and they had like leather. They were authoritarians, and they banned creatine and Monster Energy. And Hitler was like a cool guy who like skateboarded, and he gave everyone unlimited Monster Energy. EA Sports. And Hitler was like BMX dirt biking and stuff. And, you know, I'm Dan Bilzerian. Hitler was like fun. He would be like playing poker with me. And like this Jewish Hitler guy with a Hitler mustache named Yagoda was like banning all of my poker casinos in Vegas. And like, come on, man, Jewish Hitler is like totally banning the Monster Energy. They're like totally taking away the skateboarding. They're like totally banning surfing. So Gen X has this fucking obsession with Bolshevism because it's like it's their displaced anti-authoritarian values they grew up with. And they're still clinging to that. They haven't let go of the post-war liberalism, but they've replaced the Hitler boogeyman with a Jewish Hitler. And they can, in this way, they can still have the same fucking thing that boomers do, but they've just changed it up a little. Like, they still presuppose the default of liberalism and libertarianism. Oh, I'm just like, yo, look, I'm like Dan Bilzerian. Like, I'm just like a normal guy. I'm like totally a normal guy, you know? Like, I'm like, you know, I believe in just like having fun as a way of life, you know, and just like doing what you want, you know. But like the Jewish Bolsheviks, they would like throw me in a gulag and ban creatine and stuff, and that's not cool. Like, you see how they haven't broken with the boomer slave liberal system? And the Bolsheviks are actually, when you think about it, their whole shtick from these Gen X people, the whole shtick is like, oh, you know, they teach us Hitler was bad, but before Hitler, there was the Bolsheviks, and they were the authoritarians. Yeah, and that's fucking based. That's fucking based. They were the first illiberal revolutionaries and the only ones, and they were fucking authoritarian, And they did build a mighty, authoritarian, powerful regime that crushed all of the glasses-wearing people, and that's fucking based. And Bolsheviks are cool and based. They wore leather jackets, and they had red armbands, and they had the aura, and they were the based ones, and the Nazis stole that drip from them, and people think Nazis have aura, but they stole it from the Bolsheviks, who were actually the based ones. The Bolsheviks nationalized the banks. They put all of the capitalists in gulags. They took that shit over. They took over the trains. They took over everything. They ran that shit. And Hitler didn't nationalize anything. Yeah, they're right. Hitler was a fucking pussy libertarian bitch. He was a libtard. Hitler was a libtard, and the Bolsheviks were the true based strongmen. The Bolsheviks were the regime. The real regime. The based regime. And I'm sorry, Jake Shields, but you are not a based dissident critic of the system. You just want unlimited monster energy distributed to you, by Hitler. You still want to live the 1990s MTV Joe Rogan Fear Factor, X Factor, Gen X bullshit delusion. This is still your world. You're still stuck in the boomer slave system. The only force in history that this entire boomer slave system was created to destroy communism and suppress communism and erase communism. Lenin was the actual revolutionary of the modern times. The boomers created this entire matrix to suppress Lenin's revolutionary fire, and these retards think that they're based because they're like trying to bring and gas up Hitler. They're like, Hitler is like the ultimate boogeyman. No. Hitler is the literal twin shadow, the Jungian shadow of the fucking boomer slave system that rules us today. But the only thing that's outside of that system is the based Bolsheviks. And I'm sorry, but all these Gen X retards gibbering and crying about the Bolsheviks all the time, including Candace Owens, and I'm not here to attack Candace Owens, because she is a fine woman in every way. Well, not in every way, but in many ways. But the truth is, it's a brutal truth. And because I just saw a fucking tweet today where they keep doing it. They keep fucking saying it. I keep seeing these fucking tweets about the Bolsheviks. Oh, you go to this, you go to that. And I'm dropping a fucking nuke that I'm sick of Gen X. Gen X needs to shut the fuck up and grow up. The whole fantasy of the Jewish, hey man, I'm Dan Bilzerian. The Jewish Bolsheviks, they banned creatine from the gulag. They banned Monster Energy, man. It's not cool. They were like super not cool. They were like authoritarian. It was like Jewish Hitler banning all the extreme BMX sports. It's just fucking anti-authoritarian bullshit from the Gen X. And they can't let go of it. And guess what? The next generation, and then you have millennials who are still on the anti-authoritarian shit, right? But their whole thing is like democratic socialism, or national. So let me tell you, I can break down the generations so fucking seamlessly, okay? Millennials are national socialism and democratic socialism. Millennials are like, well, we should have some authority, like with healthcare and stuff. And like they could either be the actual like neo-Nazi skinheads, or they can be like the democratic DSA socialists, right? It's the same shit. It's just like one is politically incorrect and the other one is like super like respectable, right? And then Gen Z is yearning for authority. They're yearning for like some kind of actual regime. Like Gen Z is kind of regime pilled, and that they channel that through the Hitler myth, which is total bullshit, but that's how they're doing it. But a lot of them, are regime pilled in the correct way, the communist way, right? So we need but Gen Z is not even the solution. You got to keep accelerating this generational revolution so far that every trace of the boomer slave system is eradicated so comprehensively and so thoroughly that none of it survives. Okay? And that's basically, and this is genius. What I'm telling you right now is actual pure genius. Once you understand that the Judeo-Bolshevik thing is a Gen X retard mental rot, brain rot, it's Gen X brain rot. That's what it is. I've cracked a code, and I feel like nobody appreciates the brilliance. And before anyone says anything, I spent 2 years arguing rationally about this with statistics and facts and data, and they don't give a fuck. So clearly it's some kind of like deeply ingrained form of retardation that has no basis in fact or rationality. And it is a psychological issue of Gen X. And I just cracked the code, and it's brilliant. Everyone should take note. It makes total sense when you think about it. Like, nobody who's regime pilled would give a fuck about Yagoda. Oh, Yagoda is so horrible. He, like, killed 80 trillion people. It's like nobody regime pilled is spooked by this, like, attempt to make Bolsheviks the boogeyman. Okay? And we are the real anti-fascists because we defeat fascism. Blood, what's going on? We actually defeat fascism effectively because we create regimes stronger, more based, and more powerful than fascist regimes. Fascist regimes are very weak and brittle, and that's why Mussolini was upside down like a bitch. That's the truth. That's why Hitler killed himself when he was crying. And he took a black pill. He said it's so over, and then he killed himself. And Stalin, in that moment, was a Chad Jack, and he won. And that's our anti-fascism is based in strength and more powerful regimes. It's based in a more powerful regime pill. It's based in a more comprehensive refutation of boomerism and post-war liberalism than neo-Nazism is. Neo-Nazism is still based in post-war liberalism. It's just anarchism. You understand? All neo-Nazism is an anarchistic response to post-war liberalism, which is trying to just be the opposite of what it is. But by just trying to be the opposite, you're still caught in the dialectic. We're the only ones that break out of the prison system. We are the Bolsheviks. We are on horseback. And they say it's the Judeo-Bolsheviks. It's actually the Tatar Bolsheviks. We're on horseback. We are Mongols. And we are here to assert authority while we wear sunglasses so you can't see our eyes. And why can't you see our eyes? Because we're not looking at you, bitch. Our eye is on the prize, not your dumb bitch ass. And we are going to do a prohibition on Monster Energy. It's going to be like the 20s in the U.S., where we're going to be chasing down people on horses. We're going to be chasing Gen X people on horseback who are trying to smuggle Monster Energy across the border. And that will be the regime, and it will be enforced, and there's nothing they can do. And there's nothing anyone can do, actually. It's going to be so bad, and it's going to be so unfree, and it will be the regime.